continues on KTRS.
In terms of full disclosure, Eric Schmidt is here filling in for John Deal. You still sit on the board of Nurses for Newborns?
I do.
Yes.
And you are a great advocate.
And I have said, and I have continued to say, that I will never criticize you just as long as you sit on the board for Nurses for Newborns. And you've challenged that, and I've come dangerously close to criticizing you. However, I have maintained my promise to you.
Thank you.
You're running for treasurer in 2016. You're currently state senator from South County area?
Kirkwood West, so mid to southwest St. Louis County, yeah.
Okay. Jay Kanzler with us, attorney, reform politician, and filmmaker. And Jane Duker, former chief of staff to Governor Holden. Jane Duker, also voting this week, this Tuesday, is the transportation tax. Take us through that.
Well, I mean, obviously it's a tax to fund our, transportation infrastructure. And, this is the challenge. I mean, the challenge is it's a huge amount of money. It's, I forget how many billions of dollars it's going to raise. But, speaking from personal experience, 12 years ago, we had this same debate about whether we should raise taxes for transportation. We did nothing. It didn't pass.
That was a gas tax?
No, that was also a sales tax too. And it went to the ballot and it failed. And this is the thing. So now our infrastructure's gone another 12 years and we haven't done anything significant to reverse the trend of our failing highways, bridges, and frankly, building out, what other infrastructure and intermodal and all multimodal transportation system we need to be to compete in this economy. So do I think that this is the best mix of taxes? Absolutely not. We're doing tax cuts, at the state level, and we're going to shift over to a very regressive sales tax if this were to be enacted. However, the bottom line is if now our infrastructure is even more expensive than it was 12 years ago if we had done something about this then. And my concern, as it was then and is now, is that we're going to kick the can. There are problems with tolls. There's problems with the gas tax. The gas tax is also very regressive and wouldn't raise near enough money in order to take care of the problems that MoDOT says we have. So it's real easy to say no, and it's real easy, but then everybody wants their free roads and everybody wants safe bridges and everybody wants all these things, and they're just not going to happen.
So you're supporting the 0.75% sales tax?
I am.
All right.
I am.
Eric Schmidt, where are you on this?
I'm opposed to it. I voted against it, and will vote against it on Tuesday. It is the largest tax increase in the history of the state. A general sales tax, in my view, is not the proper way to fund roads. Those have traditionally, nationally, and in our state have always been funded by some sort of user tax or fee, whether it's a gas tax or tolls. We have never done that in the state, but 44 is tolled when you're in Oklahoma and 70 is tolled when you're in Kansas. I think there's a better way to do it. I don't think this is the right time to pursue it. I think it's too big. And there's also some disagreement. I don't disagree that, like Highway 70, for example, probably needs to be repaired at some level. But there's also some disagreement as to the condition of the roads. I mean, some folks have made the case that they're in a deplorable condition, but actually it's probably not true that they're as bad a shape as they were 12 years ago because of some maintenance and some things that have been done over the last decade or so. So having said that, I oppose it. I just think it's the wrong way to fund roads.
Would you be in favor if it were a gas tax?
Well, I think there needs to be a broader discussion about the best way to do it. Some sort of combination. There's been a discussion about that. I think the proponents, though, were so fixated on the actual number, and the polling suggested the sales tax was the best way to get there.
It was a political,
it's
a
political calculation,
choice,
but at some level, when we decide taxation issues, you have to look at equity and you have to look at fairness, and that's why I just don't think a general sales tax is the best way to go.
When we're looking at getting rid of the income tax and replacing it with a sales tax, you're suddenly freaked out about a sales tax?
Well, that's not what we're talking. We would talked about a very modest, for the first time, by the way, in 100 years, a very modest reduction in the income tax. So that we are competing with all those other states that are surrounding us, except for Illinois, which is going in a different direction. So I think you can have both discussions at the same time. I'm not afraid of that. I think allowing people to keep more of their own money is a position I think that I've staked out and I think most Missourians support. But when you talk about the largest tax increase in the history of the state, a general sales tax for roads where out-of-state trucking interests are not going to pay their fair share, I think there's a problem.
Well, why would voters think that at this point the legislature will do anything else? I mean, this is the problem. I mean,
the legislature put it on the ballot. I mean, you're happy with that. I mean, I'm not happy with that, but you are. So, I mean,
well, we have to because of Hancock.
But if you're going to raise taxes,
no
Jane, you have to go before the voters anyway. So it's
Absolutely,
not fair to say that the legislature is going to go in and provide their own.
Well,
they're going to put a menu of options potentially in front of people.
Why didn't they then? If the mix was the better policy, why isn't that on the ballot?
The people that want a $6 billion tax increase wanted a sales tax because the poll's the best. And I oppose that.
And the legislature was a victim when they put it on the ballot. I mean, they voted to put it on the ballot.
I didn't, but yeah,
right.
but it is on the ballot.
Jay Kanzler, bring some sense to this.
I shall, McGraw. Thank you. I oppose it for many of the same reasons that Eric says. I don't think a sales tax, again, the largest sales tax in I don't know how long.
Ever,
yeah. And also, John Lamping, your colleague, had a nice editorial in the Kansas City Star yesterday or the day before, which pointed out that this will now put St. Louis County and St. Louis City in the top 10 in the country, I think he said.
For sales tax.
For sales tax. And why not take the people that most use the highways, and that is the trucking industry, that is other transportation companies, and share that burden with them, as it is now a sales tax for somebody that drives through the state with their tractor trailer and grabs a bite to eat in Troy, Illinois, and then stops for the evening over somewhere in Wichita, Kansas, hasn't contributed a penny to Missouri. Well, I shouldn't say that. There is the fuel tax if they stop for gas. But why not have it in the fuel tax? Why not allow those people to pay their fair share? We haven't raised the fuel tax in 20 years.
Oh, we're like one of the lowest in the country on the gas tax.
17 cents, I think.
Absolutely.
Again, taxes are taxes, but sales tax hits everybody. And why hit sales tax for those people that don't even drive, that drive very little? And then, we should put it on the other folks.
If every single expert who comes in here and sits down and talks and says the fuel tax is a better way to go, why are we voting on a sales tax?
Because they want money now. They want jobs now. They want to do things now. Legislators, no offense, have the
Oh, no, I mean the offense. They do it quickly because they got to move on. Right. Hate term limits.
Let's just do it. We got to do something. How are we going to do it? And people come and say, we need roads. The sky is falling. Let's do it now. How do we get something passed? Well, we did some polls, and this says that this probably is a better way to get it passed than this way, regardless of whether it's the right idea. So do it now.
Eric Schmidt, you'll get the last word.
I think the discussion's a good one. There's a better way to do this. There is also an argument that we could do it with the existing revenue, but clearly, with what's on the ballot, with the largest tax increase in the history of the state, a general sales tax for roads, I just don't think is the right way to go.
If this fails, does this come back in a different form next year?
I doubt it.
That's the point.
I doubt it. But the reality the political reality of this is the people that are contributing these large sums of money to push the ballot initiative, they're the ones that were supportive of the sales tax. So I don't know if the people that
but they're supportive of fixing the roads. I mean, I think if there had been another option put forth, people would have done it.
I mean, what I've been told is they polled it. Sales tax was the best. Why they went to say with the sales
well,
tax.
I mean, I can't fault them for saying let's figure out the best way to get it done.
But
nothing's perfect.
But raising the sales tax, the largest tax increase in history, which stays with us, not next year, not the year after that, but going forward for good, that's not the way to say let's get it done now.
And the other problem, and I think, Jay, you alluded to this too, is when 80% of Missouri's population lives within 30 or 40 miles of another state. We border, as many states as any state in the union.
Look, I have my T-shirt on today
That's
that
great.
has every bordering state says everybody wants to touch us. I happen to have that Missouri
segue.
T-shirt on today.
I didn't think in the same show we talk about Sharknado 2 and your T-shirt, but we've accomplished that. I can check it off my bucket list.
That's
but the
right.
point is, when you get a sales tax that's that high, people start making rational economic decisions. They might start buying their big screen in Belleville. I don't know. So.
That is Eric Schmidt, State Senator, wants to be your next treasurer, and that's Jane Duker and Jay Kanzler. The board meeting continues on KTRS.